They sign up to fight for our country, but all too often their emotional scars become just too much to bear. These men and women in uniform aren't losing their lives on the battlefield, but rather here at home to suicide. The most recent statistics indicate that in 2020, nearly 17 veterans a day were dying by suicide. Now several families are sharing their stories of loss in the hope of preventing other families and their veterans from becoming part of that startling statistic. TV5's Meg McLeod has more.
Oh yeah, you're styling now.
A very fun-loving kid, loved life.
We always considered him like an old soul. He loved to fish. That was like his biggest passion.
He's very selfless. There wasn't anything he wouldn't do for anybody.
Brian was a guy that took charge of a lot of projects.
4 families, 4 different stories, but all tied together by the same thread.
It was just part of his DNA.
Yeah, no doubt.
That is just what he felt he was born to do.
Each of their loved ones cut from the same cloth.
Hi, it's Specialist Turf Shot at Shark DC, Afghanistan. I'd like to wish a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all my family in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
He didn't wait for somebody else to come up with an answer. He would figure it out himself, and then he would show you how to do it.
Connor was the go-to guy. He was the guy that could get things done. He was the guy that everybody could depend on for help.
But the families of Army Specialist Connor Shea, Army Specialist Dirk Terpstra, Army Sergeant First Class Ryan Miller, and U.S. Marine and Purple Heart recipient Austin Toth are now part of the fabric of a startling statistic.
He was such a different kid when he came home.
I don't go a day without thinking about him.
Despite their different journeys, all 4 of these families have been led down the same excruciating path.
She's like, Mom, he's gone. And I'm like, no, he's not, Ashley. I don't know who told you that, but they don't know what they're talking about.
You just don't want people to forget your child's name.
As they try to ensure the world doesn't forget their veteran, their loved ones each had a pain they couldn't forget.
He was running from the explosion and apparently a little girl had been hit and her whole arm landed in him, and he said he just kind of lost his mind. He said, I just can't forget her because I just want the pain from all of this to go away. That's all he kept saying.
He dealt with a lot of loss that he never processed. He just couldn't take the pain anymore, and the alcohol wasn't enough to cover it up.
These 4 veterans are just a handful of the thousands we've lost to suicide. The Department of Veterans Affairs' latest data from 2020 shows more than 6,100 veterans died by suicide. Even though there was a decrease of about 4.8% from the year prior, the VA says the battle is far from over.
There is no celebration in those numbers or no declaration of victory, just an opportunity to take a look at what we're doing well and points of improvement as well.
Dr. Matthew Miller says the VA is trying to address the issue from a variety of angles.
Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway.
Launching the Don't Wait, Reach Out ad campaign.
Conversations you've had already about him dealing with his PTSD.
Developing coaching into care to give loved ones the tools they need to help their veteran get mental health help.
All veterans who leave the military are eligible to get a Solid Start call.
Starting the Solid Start program to give veterans 3 calls during their first year out of the military.
This is different for the VA. This is different for suicide prevention.
And the brand new Mission Daybreak, which puts the idea of veteran suicide prevention to the masses and awards the top submissions. Those ideas all in the hope that one day families won't be left clinging to their most cherished memories.
He went through a phase to where all he would wear was camouflage.
And thinking about what they miss most.
His hugs and his smiles. And I remember the last 2 hugs he gave me. Because I remember, after 13 years, I finally said, when you hug me with your arms around my neck, it kind of hurts my neck. And so the last hug he gave me, he put his arms under.
For me, is sitting back and watching him forcing the 3 of them to do Christmas dinner dishes, just to see the 3 kids together. To me, that's what I miss most.
And I miss his face. I miss him walking through the door and going, hey, Mom. I miss everything about him. Every day.
All 4 of these families, woven together by their loss, have found a patchwork of people who've walked a similar road. Marching forward for awareness as part of the Great Lakes Bay Veterans Coalition's 22-mile Memorial Day ruck. With each step, the hope of stomping out the statistics.
This is a problem. It's this huge stigma. These first responders and soldiers they're afraid to be weak.
Fueled by their grief, they're all now working to prevent the next family, the next veteran, from being draped in this same story.
You're not a burden. You're loved. And you just need to reach out. There's help.
And there are several organizations working to help veterans and their families, including the Shea Family's Psychiatric Service Dog organization, We Walk the Line. If you need resources, you can call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988. Or you'll find a list of organizations by going to this story on WNEM.com.